Hi everyone. You may have already heard the news that I've decided to no longer be in my role as Senior Pastor of Coast Community Church. That's big news. It's a big decision for me personally and our family and for those on the team and certainly for a lot of you that have been on the journey with me and with us as a group of people for the many, many years. It's a big decision. I'm really at peace with the decision, and I believe that is the right thing to do. It was good to have some time away on that sabbatical time. It was good to really disengage and just be careful and allow God to do what He wanted to do. Before that time, probably 2 months before, I remember as elders we were having a conversation about things, certainly after this kind of crazy time, but kind of looking at new core convictions and what it looks like to be the church. It highlighted that there probably needs to be a new way to lead Coast Community. So therefore there was a couple of questions that were really important even before my time. What's the best way to lead Coast Community? And also, who's the best person to lead Coast Community? Two good questions, and wanted permission even from an eldership space and my space to explore that. I didn't need to make a decision while I was away, but it was great to come back and meet with everybody in leadership and hear perspectives and debriefs out of that 4 months, and for me to share concepts, and not that I made a decision there, but from that engagement with those questions in mind, I believe God led me to a point where certainly for me I answered that question from my perspective on who's the best person to lead Coast Community. Now we haven't got an answer to that question going forward necessarily, but for me it became obvious that my work here is done. I remember chatting with Keith Farmer, my mentor, before I went away on leave, and I had that little inkling thought, and I said to Keith, maybe, just maybe, my work is done at Coast. Anyway, that was what it was, had a time away. I did wrestle with that concept of who's the best person to lead, but it was really nice to see God lead me to a point where I felt I could make a decision, and so therefore I've officially resigned from that role. It's an interesting space and a good space. I'm really confident in the direction of Coast Community. We have been part of facilitating that, and we've been on that journey together, and that excites me about what that looks like. And how I've come to package that is that I think it actually will take a different style of leadership to lead us from this point. I do actually believe I've been the best person to lead Coast Community in the time that I've led for this season, but I believe it needs to look different. My style of leadership is like an engineering style of leadership if we talk building terms. I feel like my style of leadership is to facilitate great engagements, especially in a leadership space and with leaders, to actually engineer a way forward, to come up with not only values, vision, mission, strategic perspective and what that looks like going forward. And I absolutely believe that we have all of that in place. And as a leadership team, we've been able to navigate that and feel really super confident about that. It's interesting, when I work with other teams in that space, it's almost like once the big rocks are in place of values, vision, mission and high-level strategy, it's almost like there's so much detail in the strategic plans, and it's like I really don't mind what you do. There's so much variety. As long as those big rocks are in place, we're in good shape. I absolutely believe we have them in place and we are in good shape. And so, in my opinion, it needs a different style of leadership here. And someone that can step into that with a leadership gift and can build it from here. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that. That's our journey ahead, and I'm really excited about that. And so I think that's helpful for me to process that and go, it's a different style of leadership that is required. It was interesting, on my time away, I was able to come back with some things that I really wanted to do, and that was my language. Some things that were kind of in my heart, in my spirit, that I had passion for, that I really wanted to explore. And I couldn't leave that alone. In fact, I ended up developing a whole bunch of strategy around that. And that's things in my New Heights business space in two different arms. In New Heights Life, helping people and teams have greater revelations of who they are as people and teams, and therefore greater impact in what they do. I've got a real passion for that, to develop that, and got a whole bunch of ideas in that space. But also in a New Heights music arm, where we can be in a place and create environments to be light in those different spaces and create great spaces, especially for performers who have original music and want a platform and a space for people to engage with them. So it's a whole bunch of strategy around that. And so then I was trying to find out how leading at Coast fit into that, explored a whole bunch of different ways, but this is where it's landed. And so I'm really excited about that, because they are my intentional go spaces, where I love being alongside people in those environments. And as you do that, faith is part of the conversation, and they're great growth in environments that help people live their best lives and make great decisions. So I'm excited about that. And so that's what I'm stepping into. I'm still going to be around. Coast Community is my home. I've invested a lot there, and I love it, and still want to be part of things that are happening, but certainly not in a leadership or a paid capacity. But Coast Community is my expression of a local church, of a local gathering, and so I want to be part of that. It's been a real privilege to serve. What a privilege to serve in that capacity, and I just want to say thank you for the privilege of that and trusting me in that, because we have done a lot of great things together for the glory of God, and I absolutely believe direction is good. This analogy was good for me also. I played soccer until I was 50. Now, Brad Baker's the only exception, he just keeps going. But for me, I had to make a decision to go, actually, at some time, you just have to stop playing. And it was time for me to go, you know what, I feel like it's time to stop playing soccer from that kind of age. And there's a similarity to that right now. At some point, I would need to stop that. And I believe now is the time for that to happen. So it's been a great journey. The journey continues. I'm really expectant for Coast Community and what's in our future, and really looking forward to seeing how we rebuild out of this crazy time to be really fruitful as a community of people. And I think that we have opportunity actually as a community of people to pioneer some new stuff with some new ways and even new leadership structures, but ways that we be the church according to our follow, gather, go mission strategy. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I wish that I could have had this conversation with every one of you that wants to one-on-one. That is just really hard to do that, to get around to everybody, but I would love to connect with you. So there's plenty of time to do that. I'm going to be at Tumby this Sunday to connect with anyone there. I'm going to be at Bensville the following Sunday to connect with anyone there, and then I'm going to speak at both of those places the following weeks. So I'm around for a little while, but please, if you want to connect, feel free to make a call or text, or we can catch up for a coffee. Would really love to do that. The last thing I'd want to say, please don't be mistaken in any of this, because I've not lost my passion for God. I've not lost my passion for God's church. In fact, that's front and center. And I want to step into that and invest the gifts that God's given me for an impact for His glory. And I see that in the things that I'm stepping into, and I absolutely see it in the life of Coast Community. I do believe we're in for a great ride and we're in great shape. So love to continue to do that journey with you in that capacity. I look forward to seeing you soon. So if I don't see you this Sunday, feel free to connect and we'll catch up and we can chat some more. See you soon.